Hey guys, if you can hear the roaring behind me, that is the sound of the Liberator Rocket Stove Heater running on easily made kindling. It's roaring as hot, if not hotter, than it runs on pellets. And this is just pine. This isn't hardwood. It's a resinous, soft wood. So I'm really excited about it. And I wanted to show you how John made all this kindling. So this original tool is called a Kindling Kracker. And what a Kindling Kracker is it's a stationary blade that's set up, pointing at the ceiling. You need a little mallet. 3.5 pounds is recommended. John got the 2.5 pound because he thought this particular one looked like it was made better than the heavier one that was available in our hardware store. Now this has a cover that comes off the blade. When you're ready to use it, you want to leave it on when it's not in use, just because the blade is sharp. And then you want some wood. It sits inside the ring. It does need to be on top of a platform so that it's not damaging your floors. That's kind of dramatic in the background, that noise.
Right.
All right.
Just like a nail. And this one still has a splinter hanging on, so hit that again, and then you get the really little ones. And just keep whacking at them, getting them smaller and smaller.
We're trying to find a way to make the stove work on cordwood. We don't want to spend $6.50 per 40-pound bag of pellets when we have all this dry cordwood. And so we were really desperate. I'd already tried to use a hatchet, and I'd sent Paige out to find all the tiny kindling she could in the woodshed, and it didn't last for more than 2 hours. It was collecting all the kindling we had, plus going out into the weather and trying to get some split. We only had enough to last for 2 hours. If you had an emergency situation with needing to be able to use cordwood and wanting to use the rocket stove, you could set a child up safely with this tool, and they could keep your house warm with this little kindling maker.
That would be like the old-fashioned ice cream makers. I would get 2 whacks in and they'd be like, I'm bored. But you are correct. In a survival situation. Now, for adults and crotchety old men like me, this is actually kind of zen. And it gives you a few minutes while the family is off playing to just kind of sit back and enjoy some peace and serenity. And get to beat on things until you feel that serenity. So a lot like reloading.
So my husband comes in and tells me how brilliant he is. So we're going to watch him be brilliant for a minute.
Just like that.
I think you like it. I come in and you look like it's like your version of yoga.
nice quiet thing. You can sit and listen.
Listen to the fan.
Listen to the fan, listen to the fire crackling. So the easiest bumper sticker way to explain it is if you want a hot fire, you gotta use small pieces. If you want a cold fire, you use medium pieces. Not like Yay.
If you want to put it out, use big pieces.
Yeah. If you don't want a fire, use big
If you
pieces.
don't want a fire,
Exactly.
use something this size.
Yep. Oh yeah, that would never ever burn.
The last time we tried, just tried a little bit to put something this size in. It put the fire out, so I pulled it half burned out of the burn box and went and dumped it in the snow, because it didn't matter how many little pieces I put in, this size was going to put the fire out.
So I'll just come in and I'll just grab 4 or 5 sticks, and even these are a little bit on the large side.
It likes splinters.
Yeah, so you need those 2 right there will supplement and keep everything going.
It likes the splintery ends.
So, about every 5 minutes.
5 minutes now
Well, for little ones.
for little ones.
If you really want it warm down here.
We have no smoke out the chimney. You cannot tell we're burning right now. There's no smoke. There's no smell. You could totally burn this in town and nobody would know.
By the way, that's all the ash that came out of yesterday's burn.
I wanted to show you guys what the chimney looks like when the rocket stove is burning cordwood. You can't see, there's no steam, there's no smoke, and let me tell you, there's no smell. You actually get more smell from the pellets than you do from the cordwood. Now we're using slightly tiny, it got a little bit damp because we've got snow and our tarp punctured a little bit. So our wood it's not wet, but the outside of it has a little bit of snow on the outside. So when John splits it, it's not perfectly dry anymore. However, we have zero smoke. Nobody would know that we're heating our home with a wood stove right now. You cannot smell smoke, you cannot see smoke, you cannot see steam. And the stove is actually hotter right now using the cordwood than when we use pellets. It's amazing. Okay guys, what I'm gonna do is I want to go from outside to inside to show you that the stove is actually going, because I know you can't see it, and if we had smell-o-vision, you would understand even more because there's no smell out here. Through the garage, down the stairs, so that you can see that the stove is going, even though there's no smoke. You can see it. Okay, I'm going to turn off the fan. So that you can hear the stove without the fan going. It's very, very hot. And this is the size of wood you can burn. And you have to put new wood in about every 15 minutes. But my husband works from home and he thinks it's kind of fun, so he's not minding doing that. So I'm going to turn the fan back on. Okay, so that's how loud it is. Now I'm going to go outside again and show you that there's no smoke. I'm going to try it from the other side of the house. See if I can show it to you. Maybe the light will be better. Is the light any better? Can you see that there's no smoke? There's absolutely zero smoke. absolutely zero smell. And we're burning a softwood. We are burning a resinous pine or a resinous fir. And we're not even getting any steam out of it. Isn't that amazing? I'm so thrilled. Okay, so the reason I want to talk about this right now is that if you live in town or if there was an emergency, a lot of billowing smoke is a problem. So if there was an emergency, you wouldn't necessarily want the whole town to know that you have a wood stove. You would want to be able to invite your neighbors in and help people, but you probably wouldn't want bad guys to know that you have a wood stove in an emergency situation. In an in-town situation, there's going to be smoke ordinances and there's going to be nuisance ordinances, and your neighbors can report you for having a really smoky chimney, and then you can't use your wood stove. So something like this, where there's absolutely zero smell and zero smoke, my neighbors don't know that I'm running this wood stove right now. If you're interested in seeing more of this Liberator stove, but also seeing it compared with homemade rocket stoves and homemade rocket heaters and rocket ovens and rocket stove kilns, you can find a link in the description that goes to a 16-hour videoing extravaganza from being up at Wheaton Labs in Montana, where a whole bunch of people who love rocket stoves and love rocket mass heaters got together and showed off all of their creations. I highly recommend doing a lot of research before you decide to build a rocket mass heater, just because of the details that need to go into materials and placement in your home and how to know if it's working correctly. So hopefully this was helpful. This is a little ad from Permies. I love all the information over at Permies. There is also Wheaton Labs and richsoil.com. Those are other options, whether you're into permaculture or DIY or this kind of appropriate technology, you'll find something there.